Wagner? Have you developed a relationship with him?
I have. I actually developed a relationship back with Bobby back in 2019 before he even ever thought about joining the Commanders. He reached out to me on X. It was Twitter back
Wow.
then. And he reached out to me, just sent a message like, hey, man, big fan of your game. Wanted to talk, love to connect. And then I responded to him. And we developed a relationship, had several conversations about just helping this game. And I was very humble because at that point in time, Bobby was already well established in his career, had already put up Hall of Fame type numbers, was a Super Bowl champion. And so for him to have the respect of the guys who did it before him, and have the respect for my game, it was humbling. And obviously with him playing in Washington now, I was so thrilled when we signed him because I knew what he would bring from a leadership standpoint and all those things, but I also knew what he would bring from a productivity standpoint. Bobby's still playing at an extremely high level, evident with him being named second team All-Pro, and he's helped get this team to the NFC Championship game and hopefully to the Super Bowl with his leadership and his playmaking and how he's helped bring this team together.
Hold on. Hold on here. Bobby reaches out to you. You develop a relationship. You're sort of guiding him, giving, at least you guys are friendly. And then he just ends up on the Commanders. Give me a break. What was your role in the recruiting process? Tell me right now.
I played zero role in that.
I don't know if I believe you.
Think about this. So with Bobby, he played for Dan Quinn back in Seattle.
I know that
Dan
connection,
Quinn and then Ken Norton Jr., who it was his longtime linebacker coach, is the linebacker coach in Washington. So I didn't have to do anything.
You had nothing to do with it.
Nothing. I found out when the rest of the world found out that. And now that I mentioned it, now that I think about it, dang, Bob, you could have let me give me a 3-minute hands up. Hey, Fletcher, I'm signing with Washington, man.
I think it says a lot about him that as a made man, he's always just trying to better himself, reach out, do the right things.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah, he's just about my favorite player that's ever existed. He's like, I'm such a huge fan. I want this for him. How did they do it? How did they beat the Eagles?
Well, it's gonna take them playing a lot like they played against the Detroit Lions and how they played in Tampa Bay. They got this brotherhood, this confidence that they can beat anybody. I love the karate with this team. I love the preparation. Dan Quinn, he has brought this team together, and the anybody, anywhere, anytime mantra. It's not just a mantra; it's a way of life for these guys. They feel like they can go into Philadelphia. They don't view themselves as underdogs. As I see the point spread that FanDuel has on there. Got a 6.5 point underdogs.
What do you think?
Listen. I don't bet. I don't gamble. But if I did, listen. I believe in these guys right here, and there's no reason why they're not going to fear going into Philadelphia. They know it's going to be tough. Philadelphia's a great football team. Got a lot of talent. Saquon Barkley's having an MVP caliber season, and it's going to be extremely difficult. That environment is Philadelphia. They got great fans, man. I always loved. That was actually my favorite stadium to play in on the road. It was because they fans, man, they're just so passionate, and so I can't wait for that environment. But I love my football team, man. I can't wait to see those guys play on Sunday afternoon.
When you say they won't be rattled going into the link, I've been saying it too. I just don't see Jayden shriveling. I don't see Jayden, the moment being too big for him. I don't think the fans are going to be too loud or scary to him. You get to see this. I'm jealous. They didn't let me meet him. DQ, they didn't let Adam. They said, I didn't get to meet him in August when I was there. I haven't met him yet. You get to be around him, not even for the on-field moments and in the, the locker room moments, but you're around him a lot more than people. What have you noticed about him, or something that maybe we don't get to see behind the scenes?
Well, I'll say this. He hasn't changed from the day I met him and the first time we interviewed him, which was the day after he got drafted. And we interviewed him, and I'm looking at him and listening to him talk, and I'm like, man, he has so much humility, and just you can see, he was confident, but that moment where you're like, hey, this is a kid, a player who's comes in as the #2 overall draft pick. He's won the Heisman Trophy, and yet he has so much humility. and then you see the work ethic and how he's remained the same throughout his course of his rookie season. I've been around a bunch of rookies who hadn't accomplished anywhere near the type of things that Jayden has accomplished before getting into the league. They feel entitled. They feel like people, have to give them things. He's earned the respect of his teammates with his work ethic. He's earned the respect of his guys with the way he plays.
Yeah, he's special.
Just the humility that he goes about it, and he's unflappable. He doesn't get on these highs and lows, and where he's real emotional, and then he's down in the dumps and all that. Tremendous amount of confidence. And Dan Quinn said there's a killer in that helmet, and he has that quiet confidence. He has that quiet confidence, especially when the game's on the line. You can just see him thriving. Like, man, this is what I've dreamed about my whole life. He has great parents. They've raised him extremely well. And man, the thing is, Kay, he's only going to get better. That's the scary thing. He's only going to get better.
There's a killer in that helmet. What was the line? What does Dan Quinn say?
Dan Quinn said there's a killer underneath that helmet.
And we're talking about confidence, and I'm like, well, yeah, the team has confidence in him. He was special. I saw that he was special on the field, even in August when I was there, and he has only gotten better. But when you turn over the ball 5 times and still win the game, that gives you all the confidence in any quarterback that's out there, any team to go and be able to eliminate their competition this time around. I heard Vic Fangio, great defense. You aren't overlooking them. They're top to bottom, complete. They're scary. They're game breakers. Vic Fangio this week said something really nice about your quarterback. He said that he was, young by birth certificate, but not by tape. He basically said he's not a rookie. Would you like to say something nice about their quarterback?
About Jalen Hurts or about
Jalen?
Oh, Jalen Hurts is an outstanding quarterback, man. He's performed it's not easy to succeed and excel in that Philadelphia market. For him to lead them to the Super Bowl a few years ago and did everything he could to win that game. And he hurt us a lot in that ball game, both ball games with his legs before he got injured, especially the one at Northwest Stadium. So he's a matchup problem as well. He can do things hurting you. I know he's a little banged up, so I don't know how that injury will affect his mobility, but you got to respect him. And he has a quiet confidence about himself as well, and very poised as well. A lot of similarities between Jalen and Jayden. So there's a great deal of respect for Jalen in that Commanders locker room and me and that Eagles football team. Man, they got a great football team. That Big Fangio, man, he has a game record on and Jalen Carter on that defensive line.
It's true, and they're coached up so well. They've got these game breakers. They're super confident as well. They get to play at home. But Saquon Barkley seems unstoppable. I have Luke Kuechly on my show. He'll be in the Hall of Fame with you someday. I know it. And he couldn't give me answers, really. He tried. He did what they have to do, what happens. He's going to go off. He's going to get his 150 yards. It's going to happen. I want to know, if 2011 London Fletcher was out there on Sunday, how many yards on the ground is Saquon rushing for?
Oh, man, I would have loved that challenge. I'd say this. I would have loved that challenge. And Saquon's a great back. I think the thing that you have to do with Saquon is be patient and have discipline in your gaps. Don't assume that he's going to, jump into another gap, or you have to be patient. You have to be disciplined. The corner is going to have to tackle and show up and run support. And, you got to take great angles. As you see the Rams, free safety missed that tackle. So there's a lot of things that you have to do, and you have to do it for 60 minutes because he could bottle him up for 3 quarters, and like we did the first time in Philadelphia, 3.5 quarters, and then he can break out the rest of the game, have these long explosive runs. But you have to be patient in your run gaps, and it has to be everybody. Defensive linemen have to stay square on blocks, get off blocks. If you can get penetration in the backfield before you get going, those are ways that you can stop him. But do not jump out of your gap, because he has the speed and explosiveness to make you pay if you get out of your run gap.
Don't jump out of your gap. Answer the question, though, London. How many yards on the ground would he get if you were out there? If this is 2011, Saquon Barkley versus London Fletcher.
Listen, I'm not trying to give Saquon any motivation. I would have Me, a young Fletcher.
Yeah.
I would have loved the challenge. I would have loved the challenge.
Okay.
The great ones brought out the best in me. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me you're the only player I've ever heard that says he'd like to play in Philadelphia. Everybody hates it. Everybody hates the Philly. You're like, you got up for that.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah, it was like one of those. I felt like a gladiator. You know, the Mel Gibson in Gladiator, where you just
Russell Crowe. Yeah, you're
Russell Crowe.
London. You were terrifying. It's like you're such a nice guy, but you were just a nightmare. A nightmare.
Man, I loved it because their fan base, they're gonna let them know if they don't like the way they're playing, and they're gonna let you know. Yeah. I remember the first time when I was in Washington, we went there. We played on a Monday Night Football, and I had played in Philadelphia before, but never on a night in a Monday night. And as we're driving our buses into the stadium, they started throwing eggs at the bus, and it was like, I enjoy that because I was like, oh, it's on. It is on. It is on, but man, I love that environment.
And I think Jayden Daniels and company love it as well. We're going to take a TV break, but we're staying live. I have questions about your other team, right?
Capital and FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. They love their football in this part of the country, and this crowd is ready to go as their guys will match up with the Buffalo Bills. Two teams more than ready to get this one started, and we are underway from FedEx Field. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Bringing it out of his end zone, Isaiah. And all deep in his own territory. He coughs up the football.
That's what it is, baby. That's
and he will score. Touchdown, Washington. John Bates. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run. And Washington has tied the ball game with the extra point still to come. Now it's Hopkins to add the extra point. And with that, his guys take the lead here by a point. And they'll try again 2nd and 10. They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you're doing a big way, and what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
3rd and long, it's Smith escaping the pressure right. Slings this deep. This is caught inside the 15. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington.
A pretty decent game. Other quarterbacks, they have a hard time getting past it and often put the ball up for grabs the rest of the ball game.
And a productive gain out to the 14 after starting at the 7. It's a gain of 7. 7 yards the pick up there. 3 yards remain for 2nd down. Fitzpatrick now. Slings this deep from McLaurin. It got his man complete. And all the way down to the 24-yard line. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And from where we sit, if you had told me that that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B, I would have told you no way. I mean, that was an absolute cannon shot, and he still dropped it right on the money, too.
And that ball traveling 68 yards in the air, according to Next